Listen up. Motivation is a liar. It arrives occasionally and deserts you when you need it most. If you depend on feeling inspired, you will fail. This audiobook is the no-excuse system. Systems, rules, and tiny habits that produce results even when motivation dies. You have a choice. Wait and drift, or build something that never stops. Let's build the machine. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Listen, this first rule will decide everything. Motivation is a visitor. It shows up sometimes, it leaves without warning. If you wait for motivation, you gamble with your future. You lose more than time. You lose momentum. You lose identity. You have a choice: act or wait. Say it out loud. You have a choice: act or wait. Most people wait. They refresh a feed. They watch a video. They save a tutorial. They say, "Tomorrow I'll start." Tomorrow rarely comes. Here's the brutal truth. Motivation is not a strategy. It is a feeling. It is a mood. It is not reliable. That's the key. Look at athletes. They train in rain. They train when they're tired. They train when they don't want to. Why? Because discipline outruns desire. They don't wait for a spark. They build a ritual. They execute the ritual. Look at entrepreneurs. They ship imperfect products. They publish before they feel ready. They launch while scared. They understand failure is a teacher, not a verdict. They don't wait for inspiration. They build systems that force action. It's not about inspiration. It's about discipline. Say it again. It's not about inspiration. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for a mood, or you can create a launch sequence that works every day. That's what we do in this chapter. We create a daily start routine you can actually follow. Here is the 3-step Start Now routine. Short, brutal, effective. Step 1. Micro action. Pick the smallest possible action that moves the needle. 1 push-up, 1 sentence, 1 sent email. Micro actions bypass resistance. They trick momentum into starting. Do one small thing. That's it. Do it right now. You have a choice: act or wait. Step 2. The 1-minute launch. Set a 1-minute timer. Commit to 1 minute of focused effort on the task that matters most today. 1 minute is too small to argue with. 1 minute short-circuits your brain's excuses. After 1 minute, decide continue or stop. Most days you'll keep going. Momentum kicks in. 1 minute turns into 10, 10 into 90. That's how work grows. Step 3. Lock the first 5 minutes. After the 1-minute launch, lock the first 5 minutes as non-negotiable. No notifications, no multitasking, no renegotiation. Those 5 minutes are your promise to yourself. They set the tone. They establish identity. Start small, start now, start daily. Repeat the phrases. Start small, start now, start daily. Say them, live them, do them. Let's analyze why this works. Resistance hates motion. Resistance will argue with plans. Resistance will create complexity. Resistance will ask for perfect conditions. You will never get perfect conditions, so stop waiting for perfection. Micro actions defeat resistance. The moment you start, the fight becomes manageable. Momentum is a force. You don't need motivation. You need motion. That's the key. Motion creates motivation. Motion builds identity. Motion makes you reliable. You don't need their permission. You don't need approval. You don't need a green light from your friends, your boss, or your followers. You need a decision. Decide, start, repeat. Now hear this. Doing small things consistently beats sporadic heroics. 1,000 consistent micro-actions beat one giant weekend sprint. Small daily habits stack. They compound. They reshape your life. Practical instructions, right now. Choose one high-impact task for today. Make it no more than one sentence. Do one micro-action on it within the next 3 minutes. One small move. Done. Set a 1-minute timer and commit to 1 minute of undistracted work on this task. No phone, no tabs, just work. After that 1 minute, lock 5 minutes of uninterrupted focus. Repeat tomorrow. If you miss a day, don't dramatize it. Don't rationalize. Return immediately. Never miss twice. Recover fast, reset fast, return fast. You have a choice. Act or wait. If you wait, life fills with reasons. If you act, life fills with results. Remember the phrases. Repeat them until they're not words, but habits. You have a choice. Act or wait. Start small. Start now. Start daily. It's not about inspiration. It's about discipline. You don't need their permission. One more thing. Real-world accountability wins. Tell one person what you're starting. Simple message, one line. Public small commitments strengthen private consistency. Accountability is the guardrail that stops you from sliding back into waiting. Now close your eyes. Imagine where you'll be in 30 days if you start this routine. Small, repeated, relentless, consistent, unstoppable. You've heard the truth. You felt the friction. Now do the work. Start the micro-action. Set the minute. Lock the 5. You stopped waiting. You started. This is the foundation of the no-excuse system. You have a choice. Act or wait. Choose wisely. You mastered starting. Next, we automate the path.
Chapter 2. Design systems, not goals. You started. Good. Now stop hoping and start building. Goals are loud. Systems are quiet and deadly effective. You have a choice. You can set dramatic goals that make you feel busy. Or you can design systems that make you consistent. That's the key. Listen closely. Goals create pressure. Goals create deadlines. Goals create excuses when you miss them. Systems create identity. Systems create repeatable wins. Systems remove drama. Systems produce results. Goals create noise. Say it again. Systems produce results. Goals create noise. A goal tells you where to go. A system tells you how to get there every single day. Without a system, a goal is hope with a timer. Look at the writer example. The goal writer dreams, I will write a book. She waits for inspiration, she plans a launch date, she panics 2 weeks before, and then crumbles. The system writer sets a daily word system, 500 words every weekday before lunch. No decision, no negotiation. She writes, she ships chapters, she finishes books. Systems beat hope every time. This is not theoretical. This is tactical. You don't need permission to build your system. You don't need a coach, a course, or a perfect plan. You need rules you follow daily. Repeat. You don't need their permission. Why systems win? Humans are decision-fatigued machines. Your brain hates choices. It will conserve energy by choosing the easy route. If you give it a system, it stops arguing. Systems remove the question, do I feel like it? Systems answer, do it. That's massive, because when the question disappears, action becomes automatic. When action is automatic, discipline becomes habit. When habit is consistent, identity changes. So ask yourself, do you want to rely on willpower, or do you want a machine that runs whether you feel like it or not? You have a choice. Willpower or systems? That's the choice winners make. Build 3 daily systems. The blueprint. You will build 3 systems today. Keep it brutal, keep it simple, keep it non-negotiable. System 1. The morning system. Purpose? Start the day with control, not reaction. Structure. Wake time, hydration, 5 minutes of stillness, 10 minutes of planning, 1 micro-action. Keep it under 30 minutes, make it sacred. No notifications until you finish. Why? The morning system sets the tone. If you win the morning, you win the day. Repeat. Start small, start now, start daily. System 2. The work block system. Purpose? Protect your highest value work. Structure. 1 90-minute focus block in the morning. No email, no phone, no meetings. 1 clear output goal for the block. Use a timer. Use a notebook. Use a begin ritual. Stand, breathe, read the day's single priority. Why? Deep work creates progress. Shallow tasks create illusion. Repeat. Do the hard thing first. The hard thing builds you. System 3. The recovery system. Purpose? Sustain performance, prevent burnout. Structure. A nightly reset. 15 minutes of review, 10 minutes of planning, 20 minutes of real rest, no screens. End your day by closing loops. Prepare tomorrow's micro-action. Sleep with intention. Why? Recovery is not optional. Recovery amplifies discipline. Repeat. Recharge deliberately, recover fast, return fast. Design these systems for your life, not someone else's, not a guru's, yours. Make them non-negotiable, make them short, make them repeatable. Simple rules for system design. Eliminate decisions. Pre-decide everything possible. Clothes, food, start times, first task. Use tiny triggers. Place your running shoes by the bed. Put your notebook on the desk. Make action the path of least resistance. Limit friction. Remove the thing that makes starting hard. If email kills your morning, block it. If social media distracts you during work blocks, delete it during work blocks. Measure 1 metric. For each system, track 1 simple number. Words written, hours of deep work, or hours slept. Data kills excuses. Automate where possible. Alarms, calendar bookings, recurring tasks. Use tools to enforce behavior. Systems are mechanical. Your role is maintenance. Repeat after me. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. It's not about inspiration. It's about routine. It's not about perfection. It's about repetition. The weekly audit. Keep the machine honest. Systems need repair. Systems need maintenance. That's where the weekly audit comes in. Every Sunday evening, do a 30-minute audit with 3 questions. Did the systems run? Yes or no. What failed and why? Be specific. What one change will you implement next week? Be ruthless. Document it. Adjust. Test again. Systems evolve. Winners evolve them fast. Your weekly audit prevents small leaks from becoming system failures. You have a choice. Ignore it and drift, or inspect and dominate. Common system mistakes. Fix them now. Complex systems. If your system needs a manual to run, It's broken. Simplify. Inconsistent triggers. If your cue isn't reliable, your habit won't fire. Place the cue where you can't miss it. If email kills your morning, block it. If social media distracts you during work blocks, delete it during work blocks. No accountability. Use a simple checkmark grid or tell one person the human consequence enforces the machine. You don't need their permission. You don't need a spotlight. You need a system you maintain. Closing and transition. You've gone from starting to building. You've learned why systems outperform goals. You've built a morning system, a work block system, and a recovery system. You've learned the weekly audit and fixed the common mistakes. This is not theory. This is your operating system for consistency. You have a choice. Keep chasing goals and excuses, or install machines that make greatness inevitable. You installed the machines. Now make them compulsive. You designed systems. Next, we commit to the smallest actions that compound them into unstoppable results.
Chapter 3. Micro-commitments, macro results. Listen up. Big results do not begin with big moves. They begin with tiny, consistent actions. This is the hidden law of growth. Micro-commitments compound into macro results. You have a choice. You can chase dramatic bursts, or you can own small, daily actions. That's the key. Repeat it. Small daily beats big rarely. Say it until you believe it. Small daily beats big rarely. The argument. Why tiny things win. People worship hustle. They post bursts of effort. They celebrate one-off intensity. Then they burn out. Then they quit. Why? Because bursts don't build identity. They build stories. Micro-commitments are different. They remove drama. They remove decision. They create a quiet, stubborn habit. This is not fluff. This is math. Improve 1% every day and you multiply yourself over time. A tiny, repeated win compounds into massive change. You don't need permission from anyone to start. You just need to show up. It's not about excuses. It's about discipline. It's not about perfection. It's about daily discipline. Real-world examples. Proof over theory. 5 minutes of deliberate practice. 1 email sent. 1 page written. Those tiny moves look trivial. They are not. They are the atomic units of mastery. Musicians. 10 minutes of scales every day beats sporadic marathon practices. Skill adds up. Writers. 1 page daily becomes a book in months. The page is small. The result is massive. Entrepreneurs. 1 focused outreach email per day builds customers. Consistency beats flashy launches. Small actions stack. They compound. Do the math in your head. 1% daily improvement compounds dramatically over a year. A 1% daily improvement becomes tens of times better over time. The growth is slow at first, then it accelerates. Momentum takes over. Remember, small daily beats big rarely. Keep that phrase. Make it your mantra. The 30-day micro-habit plan, a tactical guide. Here is a battle-tested 30-day plan. Use it exactly. Do not overcomplicate. Step 0. Choose 1 micro-habit. Pick 1 action that directly moves the needle. Make it absurdly small. Examples. 5 minutes of focused practice on your craft. Write 1 page. Send 1 outreach email. Meditate for 3 minutes. Choose 1. Step 1. Define the trigger. Tie the habit to a daily cue. Bedside shoes, coffee mug, opening your laptop, a bell at 6 a.m. The cue must be consistent. Step 2. Micro action every day. Days 1 through 30. No exceptions. If you miss, correct immediately. Never miss twice. Recover fast. Reset fast. Return fast. Step 3. Track it publicly. Mark a calendar. Use a habit grid. Tell one person. Accountability amplifies adherence. Step 4. Bump slowly. If the action becomes easy after 2 weeks, increase it by a small margin. Example, 5 to 7 minutes, or 1 to 1.25 pages. Tiny increases preserve consistency and accelerate growth. Step 5. Reflect weekly. Every 7 days, spend 10 minutes reviewing. What worked? What failed? Adjust triggers, not willpower. Do this for 30 days, then repeat. Compound, scale, repeat the process. Common objections and the brutal answer. I don't have time. You do. 5 minutes exist. Use them. Micro-commitments take time, not permission. I'll start when I feel ready. Feeling ready is a trap. Start regardless. Repeat, you have a choice. Act or wait. This won't move the needle. It will. Small actions compound. 10 minutes a day become hundreds of hours a year. That's enormous. I fail sometimes. So what? Fail fast, recover faster. Never miss twice. That's the rule. Momentum rewards comebacks. Daily scripts, words that fix weakness. When resistance appears, say these lines aloud. 5 minutes. I can do 5 minutes. Small daily beats big rarely. This is who I am now. Repeat the scripts. Make them mechanical. Make them automatic. You don't need their permission. You don't need validation. You need the habit. Practical examples you can start today. Writer. 1 page before breakfast. Track in a notebook. Increase every 7 days by 0.25 page. Musician. 5 minutes of focused scales attached to waking up. Add 1 minute weekly. Founder. 1 outreach email before lunch. Track replies. Iterate subject lines. Learner. 10 flashcards daily. Review and add 1 card every 3 days. Small, simple, repeatable, unstoppable. Closing. Link back to the no excuse system. Micro-commitments are the engine of this audiobook. They convert systems into identity. They turn plans into practice. You have a choice. Build tiny actions or chase fireworks. That's the key. You practiced starting. You designed systems. Now you commit to the smallest units that create everything. It's not about perfection. It's about daily discipline. Repeat it. Live it. Own it. You adopted micro-commitments. Next, we remove the escape routes that let you quit.
Chapter 4. Kill your exit doors. There is a reason you keep stopping. There is a reason your progress collapses right when you start gaining momentum. There is a reason you have never gone all in on the thing you say you want. It's because you've kept the exit doors wide open. You built safety nets disguised as strategy. You built backup plans disguised as wisdom. You built escape routes disguised as balance. Hear this clearly. Backup plans kill commitment. Exit doors destroy consistency. Comfort sabotages discipline. You have a choice. Eliminate the out, force the in. That's the key. The argument. Why you collapse the moment things get hard. Consistency collapses when escape feels easy. Your brain will always pick the path of least resistance. If you leave yourself an exit, you will use it, always, without fail. You try a fitness plan, but you leave the junk food in the house just in case. You start a business, but you keep your old job mentally open as a cushion. You begin writing a book, but you tell yourself you can always start next month. Every one of those is an exit door, a tiny crack in your commitment, a permission slip to quit. Eliminate the out, force the in. You must understand this. Motivation is weak. Discipline is strong. but commitment is the lock that keeps discipline in place. It's not about feeling ready. It's not about perfect conditions. It's about eliminating options that allow your weaker self to win. You don't need their permission. You need the courage to burn the escape routes. Real-world examples. The uncomfortable truth. Look at the entrepreneurs who actually make it, the ones who go all the way, the ones who become unstoppable. They do something most people are terrified of. They eliminate exits. They sell the car to fund the brand. They leave the city to escape distractions. They cancel the comfortable plan B. They remove every alternative except forward. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's commitment, forced commitment. Athletes do the same thing. The best competitors don't rely on motivation. They create conditions where quitting becomes harder than continuing. They train when it rains. They train when they're tired. They don't keep excuses around. They don't store comfort close by. They restrict their choices. They limit their outs. They commit fully. Remember this, high performers don't have more discipline. They have fewer escape routes. You don't need their permission. You don't need applause. You need fewer exits. The psychology behind it. Why cutting options works. Your brain is wired to avoid pain. If an easy option exists, you will take it. If a softer path exists, you will drift toward it. That's why Plan B is so dangerous. It dilutes your focus. It destroys urgency. It spreads your energy across multiple paths. The moment you divide your commitment, you weaken your identity. You cannot say, "I'm all in," while holding on to an emergency door. You cannot say, "I'm committed," while keeping an escape hatch open. You cannot say, "This matters," while preparing to quit. Your results will always reflect your exits. Too many exits equals too little progress. 0 exits equals full force. Eliminate the out, force the in. That's the key. How to kill exit doors. Practical steps. Let's get tactical. This week, not next week, not someday, this week, you will remove 2 exit doors. Not all, not 10, just 2. Start small. Start real. Start with the ones you use the most. Here's how. Step 1. Identify your top 2 exits. Ask yourself, when do I usually quit? When do I usually break my consistency? What excuse do I repeat the most? Your answers will reveal your exits. Common exit doors include, "I'll do it tomorrow." "I'll restart next week." "I need the perfect environment." "I'm too tired today." "I just need motivation first." "I can try again when I'm less stressed out." "If this fails, I'll go back to my old path." These are not reasons. These are exits. Doors you walk through when discipline gets uncomfortable. Write down your top 2. Yes, physically write them down. Make them real. That's the first step. Step 2. Remove the gateway. Once you identify an exit door, remove the mechanism that allows you to use it. Examples. If your exit is, "Snacks ruin my diet," remove the snacks from your house. If your exit is, "I skip workouts after work," switch to morning sessions. If your exit is procrastination, set a 10-minute daily non-negotiable timer. If your exit is distraction, delete the apps that break your focus. If your exit is comfort, change your environment to support discipline. You have a choice. You can protect your exits or you can destroy them. Only one path leads to consistency. Step 3. Replace the exit with a trigger. When you remove an exit, you must install a trigger. A trigger is a forced cue that pushes you forward. Examples: lay out your gym clothes the night before. Put your phone in another room during focus blocks. Use a habit tracker that calls you out daily. Tell someone your daily non-negotiable and report completion. Set alarms titled "No Plan B, Only Forward." Trainers do this. Performers do this. Top-level entrepreneurs do this. Triggers make discipline predictable. Exit doors make quitting easy. You choose your system. Step 4. Commit to 7 days exit-free. Not 30 days, not 90 days, 7. 7 days of no exits. 7 days of no backup plans. 7 days of no soft options. Why 7? Because your brain needs proof. Proof of identity. Proof of discipline. Proof that you can be trusted with your own goals. Do not underestimate what 7 days can do. Once you finish 7 days exit-free, you will feel something new. Momentum, identity shifting, a deeper belief, this is who I am now. The identity transformation, who you become without exits. Removing exit doors doesn't just force discipline, it rewires identity. It creates a person who finishes. Not sometimes, not when motivated, always. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop flirting with failure. You stop giving your excuses a bed to sleep in. This is how you become consistent. Not by hype, not by motivation, but by removing the option to quit. Eliminate the out. Force the in. That's the key. Consistency isn't about effort. It's about identity. Identity comes from removal, from sacrifice, from choosing the path with no exits. You have a choice. Keep doors open or lock them shut. Only one choice makes you unstoppable. Chapter transition. Closing this lesson. You removed the outs. You killed the exits. You stripped away the soft options that weakened you. This is how discipline becomes permanent. This is how consistency becomes automatic. But now we go deeper. You've removed your escape routes. Now you need a protocol that kicks in when your motivation dies completely. You mastered commitment. Now you must master reliability.
Chapter 5. Automate your standards. Standards, not motivation, not hype, not feelings. Standards. That's what separates the people who rise from the people who stay stuck. You've relied on feelings for too long. You've waited to feel ready, feel inspired, feel motivated, feel clear. But feelings fluctuate. Standards don't. That's the key. When your life is built on feelings, your days are unpredictable. When your life is built on standards, your days are inevitable. You have a choice. You can keep negotiating with yourself, or you can automate the behaviors that take you where you want to go. Because here's the truth. Every time you negotiate with yourself, you lose. Every time you negotiate with your excuses, they win. And you already know that. Look back at every moment you said, "I'll start tomorrow." Look back at every promise you made to yourself that collapsed the moment your mood shifted. Feelings sabotage discipline. Standards fuel discipline. This is why the military runs on SOPs, standard operating procedures. They don't ask soldiers how they feel about waking up. They don't ask how they feel about training, or preparation, or execution. Feelings are irrelevant. Standards run the day. That's why elite performers win. Their actions don't depend on mood. Their actions depend on identity. And identity is built on standards. You don't need their permission to raise your standards. You don't need approval. You don't need consensus. You need clarity.
and you need consistency. Let me give you an example. A professional musician doesn't rehearse only when they feel like it. They rehearse because their standard is excellence. A world-class athlete doesn't rest just because they feel tired. They rest when their training schedule dictates recovery. A disciplined leader doesn't work hard only on productive days. They work hard because that's the standard they live by. That's the key. Standards force action regardless of mood. It's not about laziness. It's about discipline. It's not about your flaws. It's about the identity you reinforce every single day. Automate your standards and you eliminate the internal war. Automate your standards and you eliminate hesitation. Automate your standards and you eliminate wasted energy debating what you already know you should do. The problem isn't that you lack ambition. The problem is that you leave too many decisions open, too much negotiation, too much maybe later, too much I'll see how I feel. That ends now. Today, you design the standards that will run your life. Not high-level dreams, not vague promises. Actual standards that operate like code. Because that's the difference. Goals create direction. Standards create behavior. And behavior creates results. You want results? Automate the behavior. Here's how we do it. Practical, direct, non-negotiable. Step 1. Define 3 non-negotiable standards. Not 10, not 20. 3. 3 behaviors that define the version of you you're becoming. Pick standards that you can execute daily, are tied to the identity you want. Force discipline, not perfection. Examples. I write for 20 minutes every morning. I move my body for 10 minutes no matter what. I spend 5 minutes planning my day before touching my phone. Small, tight, repeatable. Because small automated standards beat big emotional intentions every time. You have a choice. Build standards you can automate, or drown in goals you never execute. Step 2. Attach a trigger to each standard. A standard without a trigger is just a wish. A standard with a trigger is a system. A trigger is the moment that activates the behavior. For example, when I finish brushing my teeth, I read 2 pages. When I sit at my desk, I plan my top 3 priorities. When I feel overwhelmed, I take a 30-second breath reset. Triggers eliminate thinking. No thinking means no negotiating. No negotiating means no giving up. That's the key. You want fewer decisions, not more. Step 3. Install the script. I don't negotiate with myself. This is the identity lock. This is the mental armor. This is the line that prevents the slide. The moment you feel resistance, you say the script. I don't negotiate with myself. Say it out loud if you must. Say it quietly if you must. But say it. Because the script snaps your brain out of emotional mode and back into discipline mode. When you say, I don't negotiate with myself, you take back control. You shift from feelings to standards. You shift from mood to mission. You shift from weakness to action. And action is everything. Step 4. Make your standards observable. If you can't see it, you won't keep it. Use a checklist, a habit tracker, a calendar chain, a digital automation, a sticky note, anything visible. You're not tracking for perfection. You're tracking for identity reinforcement. Every checkmark says, this is who I am now. Every completed standard says, I don't wait for feelings. Every day you show up says, this is automatic. And that's when your life changes. because once standards are automated, discipline becomes the default. Once discipline becomes the default, results become predictable. Once results become predictable, confidence becomes unshakable. You don't need their permission to automate your standards. You don't need motivation. You need consistency. You need identity. Let me tell you the truth you've avoided. Your life rises to the level of your standards. Not your goals, not your dreams, not your intentions. Your standards. Raise your standards and you raise your life. Automate your standards and you transform your life. You have a choice. Stay in the cycle of emotional decision-making or upgrade to the system of identity-based discipline. You already know which one builds the person you want to become. Close the emotional tabs. End the internal debate. Lock in your 3 standards. Attach the trigger. Install the script. Execute daily. This is the shift. This is the moment. This is the identity you commit to. No negotiations, no feelings, only standards. That's how discipline becomes who you are. And now that you understand the power of automated standards, it's time to confront the next truth, the truth about time, energy, and the hidden leaks that drain your progress without you noticing. You mastered your standards. Now, let's talk about controlling the energy that fuels them.
Chapter 6. Guard your environment like your life depends on it. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Read that again. Let it sink in. You keep trying to change your life with sheer force, sheer intensity, sheer motivation. But motivation melts, energy fades, willpower cracks under pressure. Your environment doesn't. Your environment is your silent mentor. That's the key. Your environment shapes your actions long before you're even aware of it. It pulls you forward or drags you down. It sharpens you or softens you. It builds discipline or breaks it. And here's the part most people never admit. You're not failing because you're weak. You're failing because your environment is designed for failure. You have a choice. Redesign it or let it keep running your life. You don't need their permission to create an environment that supports your discipline. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You need alignment. Think about this. A writer who needs to finish a chapter doesn't rely on motivation. They lock the internet. They remove distractions. They design the environment to force the behavior. The environment is the discipline. The environment is the leverage. A founder who needs deep work doesn't wait until they feel focused. They block email. They block Slack. They block notifications. They engineer silence. They engineer intention. They engineer execution. Because they know the truth, your environment is your silent mentor. It whispers to you. It nudges you. It directs you. It dictates the quality of your actions. And over time, those actions dictate the quality of your life. If your space is chaotic, your mind becomes chaotic. If your surroundings are lazy, your habits become lazy. If your digital world is loud, your attention becomes fractured. Environment always wins, every time. It's not about your flaws, it's about your discipline. It's about the world you place yourself in every day. You can't rise when everything around you pulls you back down. You can't grow when everything around you keeps you comfortable. You can't evolve when your environment rewards your bad habits. And you already know this. Look at the days when you were productive. Look at the days when you were focused. Look at the days when things felt effortless. You weren't different. Your environment was. You have a choice. Let your environment pull you down, or engineer a world that pushes you upward. Let's get practical. Let's get immediate. Let's get disciplined. We're going to audit 3 environments: your physical environment, your digital environment, your social environment. And then we're going to make 3 immediate changes, because design is discipline. Say it again. Design is discipline. 1. Audit your physical environment. Start with the space you live in, the space you work in, the space you think in. Ask yourself, does this environment support the person I'm becoming? If it doesn't, it has to change. Not later, not someday, now. Clutter kills focus. Mess kills momentum. Visual noise kills clarity. A high-performance environment is simple, clean, intentional. Not aesthetic, functional. A desk with only what you need. A workspace that triggers productivity. A bedroom that signals rest, not chaos. A kitchen that encourages health, not temptation. You want discipline? Make your environment the cue. Make your environment the trigger. Make your environment the standard. Design is discipline. 2. Audit your digital environment. Your phone is a battlefield. Your laptop is a war zone. Your attention is the target. Every notification is a distraction. Every swipe is a detour. Every open tab is a leak in your energy. You already know this, but you keep pretending you can overpower it with willpower. You can't. No one can. Environment beats willpower every time. Your digital environment must be engineered, not endured. Here's the truth. If your phone is your enemy, redesign it into a tool. Remove apps that drain you. Silence notifications that interrupt you. Organize your screen like your life depends on it, because it does. Writers finish books because they block the internet. Creators finish projects because they remove friction. Founders stay strategic because they shut off noise. Silence is a weapon. Focus is a weapon. Design is discipline. 3. Audit your social environment. This one is the hardest, but also the most important. People are environments. Conversations are environments. Energy is an environment. The people around you shape your ambition. They shape your direction. They shape your standards. Some people elevate you. Some people drain you. Some people sharpen you. Some people slow you. You have a choice. Surround yourself with people who reinforce your discipline, or stay trapped with people who reinforce your excuses. You don't need their permission to protect your peace. You don't need their approval to protect your progress. You don't need their acceptance to protect your future. Your environment is your silent mentor, and if your mentor is weak, you become weaker. If your mentor is disciplined, you become disciplined. If your mentor is stagnant, you become stagnant. This is why you must cut strategically, not emotionally, strategically. Distance from distraction, distance from chaos, distance from noise. And when you do, something shifts. You rise, you focus, you evolve, because your environment finally supports the person you're trying to become. 3 immediate changes. Do these today, not tomorrow, not when you have time, today. Clear one physical space completely. Your desk, your room, your workspace. Make it intentional. Make it impossible to ignore your discipline. Eliminate one digital distraction permanently. Delete an app. Block a website. Silence a notification. Design the digital world that supports your mission. Limit one social drain immediately. Mute. Unfollow. Reduce access. Create space to grow. Small changes, big ripples. Because environment shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. Design is discipline. Your environment is your silent mentor. And now, for the first time, your mentor will finally be working for you, not against you. You've guarded your environment. Now it's time to guard something even deeper, the internal engine that powers all your progress.
Chapter 7. Measure the truth. If you don't measure it, you can't improve it. If you refuse to track it, you're choosing blindness. If you avoid the numbers, you're avoiding the truth. Data doesn't lie. Discipline doesn't hide. That's the key. This chapter is where excuses die. This is where clarity begins. This is where you stop hoping and start knowing. Most people want progress, but they reject measurement. Why? Because measurement exposes reality. Measurement exposes inconsistency. Measurement exposes the gap between who you say you are and what you actually do. You say you're serious. You say you're committed. You say you're focused. But the data, the cold, emotionless data, tells the real story. And here's the truth you must accept. Your feelings lie. Your memory lies. Your mind narrates fiction. But your numbers? Never. Data doesn't lie. Discipline doesn't hide. Say it again. Let it burn into you. Athletes don't guess their progress. They track every rep, every split, every second. Why? Because greatness requires evidence. Because improvement requires visibility. Because mastery requires measurement. A runner knows their pace. A lifter knows their load. A swimmer knows their splits. They measure the truth, and that measurement shapes the next action. That measurement shapes the next decision. That measurement shapes the next level. Startups do the same. Founders track CAC, LTV, churn, conversion, because guessing kills companies. Hope is not a business model. Numbers are. Metrics are. Measurement is. The same rule applies to your life, to your goals, to your discipline. You want improvement? Track it. You want progress? Measure it. You want consistency? Expose the truth. Let's get brutally honest. If you're not measuring your habits, you're not serious about change. If you're not auditing your systems, you're not committed to growth. If you're not reviewing your week, you're not learning, you're looping. You have a choice: hide from the truth or measure the truth. Avoid accountability or build accountability. Let excuses run your life or let data guide it. Your choice is the turning point. Measurement is the leverage. Tracking is the transformation. And the moment you start measuring, everything changes. Your excuses lose power. Your delusions shrink. Your patterns become visible. Your behavior becomes undeniable. You finally see where you are. And that clarity is the foundation of discipline. Not emotion, not motivation, clarity. So let's build your measurement system. Not someday, not later, now. We're going to create 3 tools: a habit grid, a weekly audit, and a personal KPI for each system you built earlier. This is how you measure truth. This is how you adjust. This is how you dominate. 1. Build your habit grid. A habit grid is simple, but don't mistake simple for weak. Every day you track 2 things: what you did, what you didn't do. No emotion, no story, no excuses. just truth. Your habit grid should include your 3 to 5 non-negotiables, the habits that matter, the habits that move the needle. Not everything, just the essentials. For each habit, you mark tick, done, X, missed. And here's the part that changes your life. When you miss 2 days in a row, you don't shame yourself. You adjust the system. Because systems are flexible. Discipline is flexible. Results come from adjusting, not pretending. This grid forces honesty. It forces accountability. It forces clarity. Data doesn't lie. Discipline doesn't hide. 2. Run a weekly audit. At the end of every week, you sit with yourself, not for punishment, not for guilt, but for truth. You review your habit grid. You review your actions. You review your systems. 3 questions. What worked? What system produced results? Where did discipline show up? What didn't work? Where did friction appear? Where did the environment sabotage you? Where did emotion override standards? What needs to be adjusted? Remember, it's not about the flaw. It's about the discipline. It's about the system that supports the discipline. Weekly audits turn your life into a feedback loop. Progress becomes predictable. Growth becomes intentional. You stop guessing. You stop hoping. You start improving. Because what gets measured gets better, and what gets reviewed gets mastered. This audit is your mirror. This audit is your accountability partner. This audit is your truth teller. And truth is power. Truth is freedom. Truth is discipline. 3. Set one KPI for each system. Earlier, you designed systems: morning, work block, recovery. Now each of those systems gets one KPI, one number, one signal, one metric that tells you instantly if the system is working. Not 10 numbers, not 5 signals, 1. Morning system KPI: did I complete my morning routine before checking my phone? Work block KPI: did I get 90 minutes of deep work today? Recovery KPI: did I shut down screen time by 10 p.m.? 1 KPI per system. Clear, binary, trackable. Measurement forces truth. Truth forces discipline. Discipline forces results. People who avoid KPIs avoid accountability. People who embrace KPIs embrace growth. You have a choice. Measure, adjust, dominate. Say it again. Measure, adjust, dominate. This is how athletes rise. This is how entrepreneurs scale. This is how disciplined people evolve. The moment you attach numbers to your actions, the fog lifts, the story dissolves, the excuses collapse. Now you know. Now you can decide. Now you can dominate. Measurement turns your life into a system of continuous improvement. No mystery, no confusion, just clarity and correction. And that's what consistency is, a constant cycle of measurement and adjustment, a constant refinement of the truth, a constant commitment to the numbers that don't lie. Data doesn't lie. Discipline doesn't hide. And now neither will you. You measured the truth. Now it's time to face something even deeper, the emotional engine behind your inconsistencies.
Chapter 8. The 2-Minute Recovery Rule. Small slips don't destroy you. Slow recovery does. A missed day isn't the problem. A missed week is. A moment of weakness won't break your discipline, but letting that moment spiral will. The true skill of consistency isn't perfection. It's recovery. Fast recovery. Relentless recovery. The kind of recovery that refuses to turn one mistake into a pattern. That's the key. You must internalize this truth.
Your comeback speed determines your long-term success. Your ability to reset determines your streak. Your willingness to resume determines your identity. Recover fast. Reset fast. Return fast. Say it out loud. Let your mind hear it. Let your discipline absorb it. This chapter is about resilience in motion. Not dramatic comebacks, not emotional heroism. Just quick resets, quick restarts, quick re-engagement with who you committed to becoming. Every professional lives by this rule. Every master knows this law. Every elite performer embraces this principle. Never miss twice. You can miss once because life happens. You can stumble once because you're human. But twice? Twice is a pattern. Twice is a slide. Twice is the beginning of the old identity taking back control. Never miss twice. Never miss twice. Never miss twice. It's the most powerful consistency principle ever created. But let's go deeper, because this isn't about guilt. This isn't about pressure. This is about speed. This is about momentum. This is about protecting your streak, your system, and your identity. Think about the pros, not the amateurs, the pros. How does a professional athlete react after missing a workout? They show up the next day. They don't overthink. They don't drown in regret. They don't spiral into shame. They recover fast. They reset fast. They return fast. How does a founder respond after a failed product launch? They don't disappear for 6 months. They iterate the next week. They send the next email. They make the next call. They recover fast. They reset fast. They return fast. This pattern repeats across every field. Pros don't take long breaks after a miss. Amateurs do. Pros don't let emotions dictate their comeback. Amateurs do. Pros don't negotiate with their slump. They end it immediately. Because pros understand one thing. The longer you stay down, the harder it is to get back up. Energy decays. Motivation drifts. Identity erodes. Momentum dies. That's why you need the 2-minute recovery rule, the fastest reset protocol ever created, the tool that kills spirals before they start, the system that protects your discipline from emotional collapse. Here is the rule. When you slip, you have 2 minutes to recover. Not 2 hours, not 2 days, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to stop the mental story. 2 minutes to cut the guilt loop. 2 minutes to shut down the voice saying, "You ruined everything." 2 minutes to re-enter the identity of someone who keeps going. Because momentum returns faster than you think. When you stop negotiating. When you stop overthinking. When you stop dramatizing the slip. You slipped. Good. Recover. Reset. Return. So here's the exact protocol. Use it every time. Make it automatic. Make it non-negotiable. The 2-minute recovery protocol. 4 steps, 2 minutes, 0 excuses. Step 1. Stop. Stop the mental story. Stop the emotional spiral. Stop the internal blame. You missed. That's it. Pause the narrative. Step 2. Breathe. 1 deep breath in, 1 slow breath out. This resets your nervous system. This stops the panic. This gives you control, because you always have a choice. Step 3. Micro-action. Not the whole task, not the perfect session, just a micro-action that signals, "I'm back." 1 push-up, 1 paragraph, 1 message, 1 minute. Micro-actions flip your identity switch. Step 4. Return. Return to the plan. Return to the system. Return to the routine. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's not perfect. Stop, breathe, micro-action, return. This is how you come back. This is how you protect momentum. This is how you refuse to slip into old habits. And here's the beauty of the 2-minute rule. It builds resilient consistency. Not fragile consistency, not perfection-dependent consistency, but durable, sustainable consistency. The kind of consistency that survives real life. The kind that survives stress. The kind that survives bad days, low energy, and chaos. Because disciplined people don't win by never falling. They win by refusing to stay down. They win by recovering fast. They return faster. Recover fast, reset fast, return fast. Say it again. Feel the rhythm of it. Feel the authority of it. Feel the identity behind it. Your speed of comeback is your competitive edge. Your ability to resume is your advantage. Your willingness to resume instantly is your power. Never miss twice. Never miss twice. Never miss twice. It's the most powerful consistency principle ever created. But let's go deeper, because this isn't about guilt. This isn't about pressure. This is about speed. This is about momentum. This is about protecting your streak, your system, and your identity. Think about the pros, not the amateurs, the pros. How does a professional athlete react after missing a workout? They show up the next day. They don't overthink. They don't drown in regret. They don't spiral into shame. They recover fast. They reset fast. They return fast. How does a founder respond after a failed product launch? They don't disappear for 6 months. They iterate the next week. They send the next email. They make the next call. They recover fast. They reset fast. They return fast. This pattern repeats across every field. Pros don't take long breaks after a miss. Amateurs do. Pros don't let emotions dictate their comeback. Amateurs do. Pros don't negotiate with their slump. They end it immediately. Because pros understand one thing. The longer you stay down, the harder it is to get back up. Energy decays. Motivation drifts. Identity erodes. Momentum dies. That's why you need the 2-minute recovery rule, the fastest reset protocol ever created, the tool that kills spirals before they start, the system that protects your discipline from emotional collapse. Here is the rule. When you slip, you have 2 minutes to recover. Not 2 hours, not 2 days, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to stop the mental story. 2 minutes to cut the guilt loop. 2 minutes to shut down the voice saying, "You ruined everything." 2 minutes to re-enter the identity of someone who keeps going. Because momentum returns faster than you think. When you stop negotiating. When you stop overthinking. When you stop dramatizing the slip. You slipped. Good. Recover. Reset. Return. So here's the exact protocol. Use it every time. Make it automatic. Make it non-negotiable. The 2-minute recovery protocol. 4 steps, 2 minutes, 0 excuses. Step 1. Stop. Stop the mental story. Stop the emotional spiral. Stop the internal blame. You missed. That's it. Pause the narrative. Step 2. Breathe. 1 deep breath in, 1 slow breath out. This resets your nervous system. This stops the panic. This gives you control, because you always have a choice. Step 3. Micro-action. Not the whole task, not the perfect session, just a micro-action that signals, "I'm back."
one push-up, one paragraph, one message, 1 minute. Micro-actions flip your identity switch. Step 4. Return. Return to the plan. Return to the system.
Chapter 9. Script your responses. There's a moment before every action where your brain tries to negotiate. A tiny pause, a microscopic delay. That's where you lose. Not because you're weak, but because you haven't scripted your responses. You keep trying to improvise discipline. You keep trying to feel your way into the right move. But you already know the truth. Feelings are inconsistent. Scripts are not. Elite performers don't hope. They prepare. They rehearse. Salespeople use scripts because hesitation kills deals. Athletes use scripts because overthinking slows execution. Pilots use scripts because mistakes cost lives. You keep winging it. And that's why resistance beats you at the exact same intersections every time. Here's the core truth of this chapter. Predetermined scripts remove debate. Predetermined scripts eliminate hesitation. Predetermined scripts destroy temptation before it speaks. You don't need permission to act. You need a script. Say it, do it, done. The argument. Scripts equals speed. Speed equals discipline. When you script your responses, you remove the emotional loading time between intention and action. That loading time is where people collapse. That loading time is where excuses pour in. That loading time is where momentum dies. Scripts compress that delay to 0, and speed protects discipline. You've seen this before. A runner doesn't think, should I push through this mile? They say, breathe, form, forward. Scripted. A founder doesn't think, should I send this message? They say, done is better than perfect. Scripted. A soldier doesn't think, should I act? They follow the SOP. Scripted. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You rise to the level of your scripts. Remember the repetition. You don't need permission to act. A script is the action pre-decided. The examples. Real performers don't negotiate. Think about elite sales reps. They don't wait to feel confident before handling an objection. They read from the script. They execute. Objection to response to close. Now think about elite athletes. They don't wait to feel ready before stepping onto the field. They recite the mental scripts they've practiced thousands of times. Before the lift, set, brace, drive. Before the serve, focus, breathe, strike. Before the sprint, explode, lean, finish. Scripts break resistance. Scripts cut noise. Scripts create momentum. Most people fail because they're improvising in moments that require absolute clarity. That ends today. The practical. Your 10 scripts that kill excuses. Use these as is or adapt them, but say them out loud. That's the key. Spoken scripts override emotional hesitation. Spoken scripts activate behavioral follow-through. 1. The wake-up script. When the alarm goes off, up, now, no debate. Say it out loud. Don't negotiate. You're not waking up when you feel like it. You're waking up because it's the standard. 2. The procrastination script. When you catch yourself delaying, start the first 60 seconds, do it badly, move. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is motion. 3. The fatigue script. When your body complains, tired is irrelevant, standard is standard. Your feelings don't get a vote. Your discipline does. 4. The temptation script. When distraction calls you, not today,
Not now, not for me. Identity over impulse. That's how you win. 5. The rejection script. When someone tells you no, good, next, forward motion only. You don't collect emotions, you collect progress. 6. The overwhelm script. When the task feels too big, break it. Start small, keep moving. Small steps create unstoppable momentum every time. 7. The fear script. When doubt whispers, fear is expected, action is required. You don't eliminate fear, you override it. 8. The failure script. When you mess up, reset, recover, return. No spirals, no drama, just the comeback. 9. The social pressure script. When someone tries to pull you off priority, that's not my mission today. Your mission comes first, always. 10. The discipline script. When you question the system, say it, do it, done. You don't need motivation, you need execution. How to install these scripts into your life. Scripts only work if they are rehearsed. Read that again. Scripts only work if they are rehearsed. Here's how to lock them in. Step 1. Identify your failure points. Where do you usually fall? Morning, midday, or night? Social media, fatigue, fear of rejection? Write down the 3 friction points that cost you the most progress. That's where scripts must live. Step 2. Pick one script per failure point, one script per moment, one command per conflict. You don't need 10 scripts all at once. You need the right script in the right moment. That's the key. Step 3. Speak the script out loud daily. Not in your head, out loud. You must hear yourself commit. You must hear yourself declare the standard. This is how pilots memorize checklists. This is how salespeople internalize objections. This is how athletes lock in the mindset. Repetition creates reflex. Reflex destroys resistance. Step 4. Trigger it automatically. The moment the friction hits, you speak the script immediately. That's your new rule. If you hesitate, you lose. If you script, you act. Say it, do it, done. That's the power of scripting. That's the power of discipline on autopilot. That's how you win the fight before it starts. You've now learned how to control the immediate moment, the battle inside your own mind. But there's a deeper war happening under the surface, one that will determine whether your habits last a month or a lifetime. You mastered the scripts. Now it's time to master the engine behind them. Chapter 10. The 100-Day No Excuse Challenge. This is it. The final shift. The moment your identity stops wobbling and locks into place. Because at some point, discipline stops being something you do. It becomes who you are. And nothing builds that identity faster than a streak. A visible streak. A public streak. A 100-day no-excuse streak. Most people won't commit to anything for 100 days. They won't even commit to a weekend routine. They won't commit because commitment exposes them. It reveals the truth. They don't stay consistent. They don't follow through. They negotiate. And that's exactly why you're not going to be like them. This is the chapter where you stop trying to get motivated. You stop trying to be consistent, and you become the person who shows up every single day, even when you're tired, even when you're distracted, even when life gets in the way. You become the person who says, "This is who I am now." That's the key. Identity. Not feelings, not hype, not inspiration. Identity.
When you identify as the person who executes, you don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You don't need someone clapping for you. You just do the work, because that's who you are. And nothing rewires identity faster than a 100-day no-excuse challenge. A challenge that forces you to show up. A challenge that removes the option to quit. A challenge that builds self-respect with every single day you complete. You have a choice. You can continue drifting, or you can commit and anchor the new version of yourself. Let's break down exactly how this works. 1. The power of a 100-day streak. A streak does something that motivation never could. It makes quitting expensive. On day 1, quitting feels harmless. On day 5, quitting feels easy. But on day 37, on day 54, on day 72, quitting feels painful. Quitting feels stupid. Quitting feels like betrayal. A streak trains your mind to think, I've come too far to stop. And that is the identity shift. The shift from I want progress to I protect progress. Creators have used this. Athletes have used this. Entrepreneurs have used this. You've seen it online, the 100-day content sprints, the 100-day fitness streaks, the 100-day skill challenges. These people weren't the most talented. They weren't the most gifted. They simply refused to stop. They built momentum day after day until the world had no choice but to notice. That can be you. But it starts with a choice, a commitment, a line in the sand. 2. The rules of the 100-day no-excuse challenge. Simple, clear, non-negotiable. Rule number 1. Pick one discipline, only one. Not 10 habits, not a whole lifestyle makeover. One discipline that matters. One discipline that moves the needle. Rule number 2. Show up every day for 100 straight days. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, doesn't matter if it's 30 minutes. You show up. You execute. You log the day. Rule number 3. No 0 days ever. Even on your worst day, you do the smallest possible version. That's the identity you're building, the person who never goes backwards. Rule number 4. Never miss twice. If you slip, the 2-minute recovery rule kicks in. You get up, you reset, you return. Fast. Rule number 5. Track it where you can see it. A wall calendar, a digital streak tracker, a notebook. Anywhere you can visually mark the chain, because seeing your streak is your accountability partner. Rule number 6. Commit publicly, not for validation, for pressure, for identity. When you tell the world you're doing something, the old version of you can't sneak away quietly. Your tracking system. Data creates discipline. Visibility creates pressure. Tracking creates identity. You're going to track 3 things every day. Did I show up? Yes or no? No paragraphs, no feelings. No self-therapy. Yes or no? How long did I execute? 5 minutes? 10? 30? You log it. Data doesn't lie. Data doesn't hide. 1 sentence of reflection. I showed up tired. I didn't want to do it. I'm becoming disciplined. 1 sentence, then move on. This is how you build a streak that reshapes your mind. This is how you build the identity. This is who I am now. 4. Accountability setup. High performers don't rely on willpower. They rely on pressure. Pressure creates clarity. Pressure removes excuses. You need one accountability partner, someone who will call you out, not comfort you. One weekly check-in. Screenshot your streak. Send it. No stories, no drama. Proof only. One consequence for failure. Make it painful. Make it memorable. Make quitting expensive. You have a choice. comfort or progress. That's the key, and you know which one you're choosing. 6. Your recovery plan. You're not a robot. You're going to get tired. You're going to get stressed. Life will interrupt you. But discipline isn't about preventing chaos. Discipline is about continuing through chaos. That's why you need a recovery protocol locked in. Step 1. Stop. Interrupt the spiral. Step 2. Breathe. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Step 3. Micro-action. The smallest possible version of your habit. Step 4. Log the day. Even if it was tiny. Many streaks are saved by tiny days. This is your emergency brake, your identity protector, your streak saver. The reward. You don't reward effort. You reward completion. You reward identity. At day 100, you do one thing, a visible, symbolic reward, something that reminds you of the shift you made, a ring, a bracelet, a framed calendar, a tattoo if that's your style, something permanent because the identity is permanent. The ritual. The ritual matters because words create identity, and identity creates action. So here's how you begin. Stand up, take a breath, say it out loud. This is who I am now. I don't negotiate with myself. Start today, no excuses, 100 days. Say it again. Feel it lock in, because this is the moment everything shifts. This is where inconsistency dies. This is where discipline becomes identity. This is where the new you begins. You've built the systems. You've built the standards. Now you build the streak. Start today. No excuses. 100 days. This is who you are now. Quote, you listened, now act. Motivation will die. That's normal. That's expected. You have a choice. Wait for feeling or build a system that never stops. That's the key. Systems beat inspiration. Standards beat moods. Small daily beats, big rarely. Data doesn't lie. Recover fast. Never miss twice. You don't need their permission to become relentless. So here is your challenge. Pick one micro-commitment, remove one exit door, and begin the 100-day no-excuse challenge right now. Say it out loud. This is who I am now. Say it again, then move. No excuses. Start. Dominate.